Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the host of The Lockdown. It's Zach Danger and number 12.
Okay, everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Lockdown.
What?
I'm your host, Zach Danger.
I am number 12, aka Michael Nguyen.
And today's May 2nd. Are you embarrassed to say your robot name in front of a guest? Is that what's happening right now?
It's you know what it is? It was kind of cool to have a robot name when it was more apocalyptic and the weather was bad, but it's weird to have a robot name when there's like birds in the sky, you know, and there's like nice like when there's like sun, you can't be like, I'm number 12, you know. You're like that weird kid at the family picnic who's like, no, don't call me by my slave name, you know, like, oh, come on. Like, just have a hot dog, bro.
Yes, and joining us today is our a good friend. He's been on the pod multiple times. He's done the live podcast show. He's an ex stand-up comedian. Just like us. And yes, and Mike wrote here that his biggest credit is that he's got antibodies, and we'll find out. We'll find out more about that later. But let's give it up for BRYAN Yang, everybody.
Hey. Yo,
dude, it's so good to see people who aren't my wife. Oh my god.
Yeah, dude.
I haven't seen an Asian face in months.
Oh my god, an Asian face. It's so important to see an Asian face.
You gotta see Asian faces, dude.
I wonder if that's a startup we could do, you know what I'm saying? Like order an Asian. Oh, well, I think, yeah. And then we just like
Asian Facebook,
yeah. And we just come outside your apartment and just wave at you. It's like, hey, you know, what's going on? You know, hey. No, you're our first guest. Are you our first guest? Yes. Or we have another?
Yeah, in terms of the lockdown.
In terms of the
lockdown
lockdown,
era? Wow.
in the lockdown era,
Yeah.
you're our
Boys.
first guest, and we wanted to get you. Obviously, you're a friend of the pod. You've been ride or die since the beginning, and also you have an audio setup, and that helps a lot.
Yeah.
That's mainly the thing.
Yeah, that's the main thing. You have a Bluetooth mic, so that's good.
Dude, should we just fucking get right into it, Mike?
I kind of do want to just get right into it, and we can always come back around to the quarantine update later.
I know. We're just like, let's talk about our comedy shows. Fuck that, dude. BRYAN Yang has got some shit he's got to say.
I want you,
and
I wanted to come from you. You were out for a little bit, and you know, just start from the top. What happened, man?
For sure. So, like we were talking off air, the last time I saw you guys, we were doing a show making fun of coronavirus. And then literally 2 weeks after that, I got coronavirus.
Man. It's like you really committed to the bit. Yeah.
I know. You know what's so crazy is quarantine has made time meaningless, right? Mm-hmm. That show was only 2 months ago. And it feels like it was 10 years ago.
It seems like such a long time ago, man. You know?
Yeah.
I looked on my Instagram from the pictures, and it was the first week of March, which was not that long ago. We were stand-up comedians.
We were. We did jokes.
Now it's like a quiet place. We're just like hiding from the monster.
Yeah.
You can't do jokes anymore.
So yeah, like how did it feel when you first got it? Did you think, oh, this is okay, or like, uh-oh, or what? And also, where do you think you got it?
Okay, so my wife is a nurse, and I feel like she gave it to me. I feel like she got it somewhere. And then
got it.
She was only sick for 3 days. So I was like, oh, great. Like, we're young. Everything you hear in the news is like, you know, if you're young, you'll get it, but it won't be that bad. It'll be like the flu. So I was like, oh, okay, fine. She'll probably get me sick, and I'll have it for 3 days as well. And I just had a fever for 10 days that never went away. I was just like,
oh my God.
Yeah, the sickest I've ever been in my whole life. And just wouldn't get better. So I was calling my doctor on the phone on and off for that week, and they were like, okay, you probably have it, but you probably won't get tested even if you come to the hospital because you're so young. They're just going to tell you the same thing we're telling you right now, which is stay home and just rest and drink a lot of fluids. And I was like, okay, but I felt really, really sick. But they just kept telling me that. So I just did that for basically a week and a half.
But didn't you go to the hospital?
Yeah, so on the 10th day, I called my doctor again because I was telling my wife, like, I can't live like this. I can't have a fever. I can't have a fever for this long.
Yeah.
It just felt so bad, you know?
Did you have
And
did you have
so-
other stuff too? Did you have like you have a cough and all? Did you have like the toe thing? You know what I'm talking about?
Well, no, what's the toe thing?
The toe rash.
The toe, it's
Oh,
like a toe
no.
lesion. It's like a discoloration of the toe. That's like something they think is a symptom. But I mean, yeah. What are the other symptoms? You know?
The taste thing, like my girlfriend,
The taste
I
thing?
think she
Yeah.
had it. She couldn't smell or taste anything for a little bit.
Yeah, so I lost my sense of smell and taste, which was really weird. Like food just tastes like cardboard. It's weird. It just tastes like
Wow.
nothing. And then the biggest thing for me was I had a fever and body aches, like the worst body. You just feel
Yeah.
like someone just punched you in every part of your body.
Right.
And then the shortness of breath. Basically, by the 10th day, it was really, really hard for me to breathe.
Shit. Were you like
Basically, I found out at the hospital that my oxygen levels, your oxygen levels are supposed to be 99 to 100. That's the number that that your normal oxygen levels are in your body.
Right.
Mine went down all the way to 89.
Oh,
and
shit.
so that's,
shit.
yeah, that's when they were like, okay, we have to admit him because his symptoms are severe, even though he's young. So that's when I went to the ER and then was admitted to the hospital.
Damn, dude, your lungs are a B plus, but that's not bad.
so
not bad, man.
That's right.
Were you so when you were at the hospital? What was it like in the hospital? Was it like a scene from Contagion? Was it craziness? Was it like
Yes.
You know?
So I'd never been admitted to a hospital like this before,
Sure.
where like you're in a bed wearing a gown.
Right.
So basically it is like Contagion right now. The hospitals are madness. Basically, they're super impacted. There are tons of people sick there. There are people like in beds in the hallway
Right.
because there's not enough
Oh my
rooms.
God.
Damn.
So I luckily got my own room initially just to wait to get my real room, because you have to wait for someone to leave and then you can get a real hospital room. So I was in this waiting area and you have no idea what's going on because you're so sick. So I was just sitting there for hours, and then finally a nurse came in and gave me a gown and told me what was going on, that I would have to wait there for a few hours until I got my own room. And so they transported me to the basement, which was another holding area.
Right.
That part was insane because as I was being transported down, I saw them wheeling a dead body into the morgue.
Well, so I
Oh
mean,
my
like,
God.
is that what it is? Is it like, oh, okay, as soon as somebody dies, you can have their room? Is that like, was that?
Hopefully, like they get hopefully they get better and get released.
that's what I'm hoping.
yeah, yeah.
Whoa.
No, yeah.
It's just
So it was a stretcher with basically like a small box and a white sheet on top of it, and like a body size, and yeah.
No, that's not.
So as I'm going down,
That's crazy. That's not a birthday cake for sure, man. Wow.
no,
That is, so. Well, I mean, so like.
Wait, did you? Did you like? Did they like test you at all, or were they just
Yeah.
like they looked at you and they're like, you definitely have it?
they did a X-ray of my lungs, and then they were immediately like, yeah, your lungs look exactly like what COVID is, and then they did the COVID test, which is they take it's like a Q-tip that's this long.
Oh, in your
super
brain,
long.
right?
They put it in your nose all the way up, and it feels like it's hitting the tip of your brain. And it
Dude.
sucks. It fucking sucks.
Don't they do it like twice, like up each nose? I made that
They
up.
only did it once. Yeah. Thank God. It's so uncomfortable. Like everything about COVID sucks, man. The fever, the body aches, the test, everything sucked.
Are they still? Do you know if they're still doing that? I thought Bill Gates was saying you can just swab your nose now. Is that the case?
I have no idea what the fuck Bill Gates is talking about half the time.
Yeah, right. Bill Gates is like.
I saw-
Bill Gates is like. Did you guys know you could take the helicopter to the hospital?
Yeah, exactly.
There's a stallion waiting for you when you get there. Shut up, Bill. Okay. How
So
would you-
like
how do you-
my wife is a nurse
Yeah.
and she's working like on the front lines, right? So he said that there could be a vaccine for COVID in 9 months, and she's like, there's probably no way that's
Wow.
possible.
That's crazy. So
It's usually like a year and a half to 2 years. So I don't know. He's a billionaire, and I think he's just very optimistic. But I have no idea. Yeah, for me, I mean, I was just in the hospital 3 weeks ago, and at that time, I think nothing has really changed. Testing was still like very limited. They
Right.
didn't really want to test me at all. So I'm not sure about the swab thing that he's talking about.
So did I mean, like, what were you thinking? Were you like real afraid? I mean, of course you must have been afraid, but like, you know, like, if anything, it's just like, are you, you know, like, what were you tweeting? You know, like, what are you doing? Because like you're sitting there and all you can think about is you're sick and you're in the hospital.
Didn't you get a manager while you were sick?
Yeah, were you texting your manager like, hey, this is the worst gig I've ever gotten? You know, like, you're fucking fired.
So the manager thing, because we were in quarantine, she had come see me do stand-up in February, and she was like, you're really funny, I'm gonna keep my eye on you. And then we all went into quarantine, and she was like, oh shit, like, your tweets have been like, you know, keeping me sane, like, they're really funny. And I had like a tweet go viral, the one about, if you can call this the Asian virus, then we get to call it the white mass shooting.
That's such a good one.
Yeah. That blew up, and then she was like, oh shit, let's have a meeting. So the cool thing, well, not cool, but the weird thing about coronavirus is that your fever goes up and down. So one day I would have like 104.
Oh shit.
And another day it would go all the way back down to 99. So luckily the day I had a Skype meeting with her, my fever had gone down, and I was like, oh shit, I'm getting better. I'm getting a manager.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's my birthday. Also, I had coronavirus on my birthday too.
Man,
by the way.
happy birthday, bro.
Were you in the hospital? Or were we at home?
I was in the hospital 3 days after my birthday, but basically my birthday was like when it was getting really bad.
Wait, did you take the manager call from the hospital, like in your gown?
That would have been
such
awesome.
a good bit.
No, so I got signed 4 days before I went into hospital.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, so I got signed, and then we were supposed to have another meeting, and I had to email her and be like, I'm in the hospital with COVID. And luckily, like, she's super nice. She's like around our age, so she's really young, and you know, she's cool. So she was like, oh shit, like, let me know if you need anything. So it was more than just like we kind of connected right away. It was more than just like a business relationship. She was like worried about me and like asking about my wife and stuff. So that was cool.
Yeah,
dude. Congrats on that. So I mean, yeah, like what were you thinking? What was going through your mind as you were kind of lying there?
In the hospital, the first night was scary because you have no idea what's going on, and they kind of just whisked me away. I didn't even get to say bye to my wife. She took me to the ER, and once they said like you're severe, they just put me in a wheelchair and then wheeled me away, and then like I gave her some stuff to take home, and then she left, and then I was in the hospital
just by yourself.
So that first night was really weird and surreal, and then basically I was just so out of it for that first week that I didn't feel anything. I was just like unconscious basically.
Did they give you stuff? Did they give you stuff to sleep, or what was like? Was there any treatment really, or was it just like a lot of water? Okay, go ahead.
So I was put on a breathing tube immediately, basically, and then they put you on an IV, and then they gave me Klonopin just to like chill me out. So then that first week I was so sick and like pretty much medicated to just be like zoned out, you know. Dude. And then I kind of came to the second week I was in the hospital.
Okay.
You had this tweet that was like talking about how, you know, one of the symptoms for corona is diarrhea, but like you can't go alone because you're too weak, so it's a lot of shitting yourself. Is that true? Can you comment on what happened there?
For sure. So
Fumi's asking those hard-hitting questions.
No, I mean, I'm all about it, dude. This is comedy. We gotta talk about shit and dick and shit. I got a story about my dick too.
Okay, yeah. Let's
talk about your poop first.
Let's go to the back and then go to the front. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So yeah, basically, while I had a fever, in something like 20% of COVID patients, you experience diarrhea. So I just hit the jackpot. Like,
congrats!
I got COVID. I got diarrhea. It was awesome. Yeah. I turned 32. What a week I had. So yeah. You can't breathe, and the weird thing about COVID is you don't realize when you're healthy how much you need oxygen. That's the weird thing. Like everything
makes sense. Yeah.
Talking, I couldn't talk. Just moving your arm like this takes oxygen. You need oxygen in your body to go into your blood so that you can move. So I remember shifting to the side in my bed and all the oxygen leaving my body and gasping for air.
Craziness, man.
And that's when I knew like this is really bad. And then on top of that, having diarrhea. So you need to walk to the bathroom when you have diarrhea, right? But then how can you walk when you can't breathe? So I was basically holding my shit in the hospital because I was too scared to lose all the oxygen in my body. So one night I really had to shit, and I was connected to everything, right? I'm connected to the breathing machine. I'm connected to an IV. So I take off my breathing tube and run to the bathroom as fast as I can so that I don't lose the oxygen. Shit. And I don't even have time to wipe my ass because like if I did, I would pass out. So I pulled up my pants and then go back into the bed. So there's just like shit all over me. That's crazy. And then the nurse had to come and like give me new clothes. Like if it was any other circumstance, I would be embarrassed. But it was like, dude, I'm so sick. I don't even give a fuck. Like, So and then they have to give you like, there's no shower, so they give you wipes. So I had to like wipe myself. It was so fucked up.
Oh my god,
really, man, that's crazy, bro.
And then one night, because I told them I can't go to the bathroom, they gave me a bedpan to shit in. So the nurse literally helped me onto the bedpan and I shit
they like
in my bed.
They like roll you
it's
over, right? They like roll you to one side and they put it in, then you roll back over. Yeah.
I don't know. What?
And then they put your bed up, and then you shit, and then she waits for you to finish,
she's waiting,
and then she takes it away.
Is she like looking at you?
No. They put the curtain.
They leave.
They let you
They leave and they come back.
No, she looks right into your eyes and she goes, "You can do it, buddy."
Yeah. And she has the chart out and she's just like, "Come on, buddy, this is streaming live on Facebook."
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Hospitals, man. That's crazy, bro. So okay, but then. That went on for a while, like the kind of like shortness of breath, can't even wipe because that would take too much energy, you know, like that went on for a while. Then
it did. It went on for about a week and a half, and I remember once I got strong enough in the hospital to go to the bathroom by myself, it felt like I was climbing Mount Everest. I was like, oh my God. Like, dude, just imagine not being able to take yourself to the bathroom. It's the worst pain.
I can,
like having to pee or poop. You're just like, fuck, I can't make it. Like now that I'm healthy, I just appreciate being able to do stuff on my own so much. Like when you're just at the mercy of someone who's there to help you, you really feel like so inadequate and helpless. It's so crazy to be healthy again and be able to have autonomy.
So speaking of inadequate, let's talk about your dick. Okay, so what happened then?
What happened there?
Okay, so same thing, right? You can't go to the bathroom, so I'm peeing into this bottle. It looks like kind of a water jug type thing, and they connect it to your bed.
And it has
peeing into that.
It has the graduation, so you can see how much you're peeing. Because they're writing that down. It's like 50 cc's, buddy.
And they're checking your pee too to make sure, because one of the symptoms of COVID is kidney failure. So they're checking your pee.
Oh man.
Yeah, some people it shuts down all their organs and that's how they die.
Right.
So I was lucky. It just attacked my lungs and they were able to clear that up with antibiotics.
Okay.
But so I'm peeing into this thing and my wife's a nurse. So she's like, after I left the hospital, she's like, so they cleaned your bottle like every 3 days, right? But I was like, no, they were so busy. They didn't have time to like really clean anything the way they would if it was like a normal hospital stay. So I peed into this like filthy bottle for basically a week.
That's crazy.
And as soon as I got out, I got a UTI. I got a urinary tract infection. So I had COVID, got better, and then immedially got a UTI once I got out of the hospital.
You got a UTI because you're peeing in this like dirty thing, and the bacteria must have gotten into your. How does that like? Were you like? Was it getting to a point where like your penis was touching the liquid as you're peeing or something, or was it just the whole?
I think it's just like they didn't really clean it, so I'm just like peeing into this thing. Like usually your dick's not touching anything, you know?
Right.
And I think my dick was just touching like this dirty bottle. That was almost worse than COVID because the UTI just made my bladder feel full all the time.
So you're always so now you got to put your dick back on that dirty bottle.
Yes.
Dude.
Yeah.
So okay, this is thanks for sharing that story. That's really nice of you to share that. So okay, I think Mike was trying to get at this earlier, but like, and again, I'm gonna refer to one of your tweets because I want to know what's going on in your head. You tweeted, you're like, it's weird almost dying because when you don't die, you're just like, I guess I'll eat a banana or something like that.
Yeah.
What, like, did you think you were gonna die? And then if so, like, what were you thinking about, man?
That morning that I tweeted that was when all the doctors came to see me, and they were like, whoa, you look way better today. Like, we were really worried about you. So when you're really sick, I realized, like, you don't know. I didn't know I was that close to death.
They don't tell you.
They didn't tell. I just remember one night, because they check on you every few hours. So it's kind of like 8 p.m., the night shift, 8 p.m., midnight, and 4 a.m. they come and check on you. And I remember usually the doctors don't check on you late at night. It's just the nurses. But one night, like 4 doctors, I remember, were hovering over me. And they were talking about admitting me into the ICU.
Oh, shit.
So I was just in the regular hospital, but my oxygen levels were so low that they were like, okay, he's right on the edge for, should we take him to the ICU? And then the doctor just put a surgical mask over my oxygen mask, and that trapped the oxygen,
more oxygen.
and
That's
raised
good.
my O2 levels. So they were like, okay, he doesn't need to go to the ICU. But they were like, your immune system had like a huge overreaction to the virus. So it was just attacking everything in my body.
Oh, shit.
And that's when I think they were like, he could possibly, like, I think it was like 50-50. I think it was a toss up.
What?
Oh,
And
my
luckily
God.
that second week, I just got better. For whatever reason, the second week I just got better. But that first week, I think it was really bad. I couldn't talk. I couldn't breathe on my own. I have no idea what happened, what they gave me, whatever antibiotics I was on. But that second week, I just remember every doctor coming in to see me, and they just call you by your last name because that's what's on your chart in your room. And they're like, Yang, you were bad. You look great now. It's like, oh.
Those are the words they said. They didn't use any
Yeah.
scientific. Bro,
That's it, yeah.
it was
Sexy.
bad, but now it's good.
Yeah.
A lot of them were like, dude, what a turnaround. Oh my God. So that morning when I got breakfast, the doctor came to see me, and he was like, woo, you looked really bad last week. Like, you're doing a lot better. So that's when I tweeted that. Like,
Yeah.
that's so weird to know that I could have died, and that feeling. And then now I just have to like do mundane, everyday
just like
life
regular
things
shit.
and eat my breakfast. Yeah. So it's like the most dramatic thing that could happen to you.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, well, I guess I just keep living.
Yeah.
Dude, do you think you have like a different, I know you're still recovering, but do you feel like you have a different perspective on like life, or maybe just this disease, or
Yeah,
just your
man.
immediate goals because of
you're-
this experience? Like,
Yeah, you're posting all your sick outfits now. You know, it's pretty cool. You know, like
yeah, you changed.
You
like,
changed,
did it,
bro.
Did it
You
make you more
changed.
fashionable?
You shaved your head. You look good.
I'm just becoming Mike. I'm replacing Mike. No, I totally had a complete change on my entire outlook on life. I'm not scared to do anything anymore. I don't have as much self-doubt. Like, when you come that close to dying, you realize like how little things matter and how quickly things can be taken away from you.
for sure.
So now I'm like, dude, if I have a dumb idea for a pilot, I'm gonna fucking write it. I'm not gonna be scared that some people are gonna think it sucks, or that it's not the right fit for someone. Like, I'm just gonna do it. And I think a lot of that comes from the confidence of like also getting signed, and that validation of like, okay, I mean, I don't know how you guys feel, but to me, if you're a comedian in New York and you get signed by one of the bigger talent companies, that means like you're doing it, and you're doing it well. And then to almost die, it's like, dude, I have that validation. I know I'm one of the comics that people want to book, and I just don't have like self-doubt about anything anymore. And that's like
Yeah.
outfit of the day thing. I'm just like, I'm in quarantine. I'm bored.
Yeah.
I like to wear clothes. I'm gonna just fucking do this.
it,
Like, I don't have like self-conscious behavior anymore.
Yeah. I think that's so awesome, dude. I feel that you got signed by the manager, and then when you were like, were pooping yourself, bro, that was God signing you, man. Okay. God was like, no, you're what's up. You're what's up.
Yo,
He's like, he
chose you.
He chose you. You know what? You look terrible, and you're shitting yourself. But there's something about you, bro. You know. I'm gonna give you a
You're
UTI
gonna come out
though.
on the other end of this. Yeah.
Yeah, this guy's funny. Yeah.
This guy's funny. I like your tweet.
Okay, wait. So speaking of like not being afraid of doing things anymore, not being afraid to voice your opinions, be who you are. You had another tweet that I thought was so funny that I want to discuss, and we can bleep this person's name later if you want. But
no, I lay it all out there. Like I said, I don't give a fuck. This is the reborn Brian.
Oh
Guys.
shit. Okay. So this is okay. Let's start here.
Yes.
We're all joking about being ex stand-ups and stuff, but we still all love comedy. We miss stand-up, and we want to keep doing comedy in whatever shape or form that will exist in the near future, right? That said, like we do see a lot of people online who are jonesing for some stage time, jonesing to produce another comedy show. And somebody recently, an owner of a club, tweeted or like was a Facebook status that was like, hey, like what would it take for you guys to come back and do a show here again? Like would you guys do it if we're 6 feet apart? And a lot of comics were like, the smart ones were like, it would take a vaccine. But
right.
the dumbass ones were like, I'd be happy to do anything. I'd wear a mask, whatever, a hazmat suit, whatever. Just get me in front of a crowd. I'm jonesing for comedy, which I get the spirit. But you like took a screenshot of that and you posted it on Twitter. And you're like, there wasn't even a joke. You're like, this is fucking stupid. People are dying. Comedy's dumb. Go home or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I realized like, obviously we all love comedy, but when you almost die from this, I think because a lot of people are dying, but for a lot of people, it hasn't affected them other than the quarantine, and they don't know anyone who's gotten sick, right?
Right.
So I almost died, and it's like, dude, when you almost die, you're not thinking about stand-up.
Yeah.
You're thinking
not
about your
thinking about that.
family.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
thinking about like all the shit you didn't get to do. Like, you're not thinking like, oh, I want to fucking go perform at of all places. You know what I mean?
No,
if I'm gonna perform in the quarantine, it's gonna be at the Knit
Yes,
or the
the
Cellar.
Do something.
They never booked me at the Knit.
They never booked me.
Yeah, like, dude, I'm not going to the. What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh my god!
It's just insane to me how people don't take this seriously. Here's an example, right? My mother and father-in-law kind of weren't taking this seriously, and then I got sick, and now they take it more seriously than anyone I know. And that's what sucks about this thing, because it's not like 9/11 where you see the towers coming down. It's invisible. And basically these people are just gonna have to know someone who dies or almost dies before they take it seriously. It's so stupid. Like, in the grand scheme of life, stand-up does not matter, and we know this because right now we're not doing stand-up, and we're okay, right?
Yeah, we're fine.
Nobody here is shitting their pants because of it. Yeah.
No, we're in survival mode right now, as we should be, for the greater good of humanity. And once things come back to normal, then let's start to have that conversation of like, how do we hold public events now after this pandemic? But to fucking see that like 3 days after I get out of the hospital and almost dying, I'm like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. Yeah.
What do you think? Have you done like any Zoom shows? Like, what do you think is gonna happen to stand up? Mike and I have kind of talked about it.
We've had some Zoom shows. Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of like Zoom shows more than going to do live stand up now.
They're kind of fun.
That's funny. Mike is actually pretty good at Zoom shows.
I kind of like them.
I weirdly,
You know what's cool too?
I do too. I don't know why. I'm kind of good at them too. And I weirdly have done only 2 so far that since I've gotten out of the hospital, and got paid both times. So I'm like 100% rate at getting paid. And then I was telling my wife, like, this is great, like, because I just do my set and then I go right to the living room to hang out with her. I'm like, I don't have to take the train an hour home from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
You know what's kind of cool too is that if you get booked on more than one, you can like immediately teleport to it. That's like the cool thing is like you did one and then like, oh, where is it? It's in Australia. You're like, you're there. Like we're all just like Goku, just know. Like just
Usually. I don't know if I can go back to like the clubs.
There's
fuck it,
dude. I mean,
well, dude, we were we were talking about that. It's like, you know, I think like all three of us are on the same page. Is like, yeah, like we're just trying to adapt. We like comedy.
Yeah.
I'm happy to do it in whatever shape or form that exists. But like some people, I think a lot of our friends who are still road dogs. You know, I heard yesterday that one of our close friends, she was like a road dog, is like trying to book dates for 2021 right now. That's like what she's doing.
That's wild.
You know, and it's like that's I'm glad she's like keeping busy and stuff. But it's like, oh man, like I don't know who's right, but when I heard that, I was like, oh, that's not for me. Like, I don't know if that's what I'm getting from all of this. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, yeah. So I was booked on a lot of shows out of town this spring. Like, and once the quarantine happened, I was kind of happy that I didn't have to do those dates. Because, like, some of them were, like, in Minnesota and Wisconsin. And I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I don't have to go there. The shows would have been fun, but like I hate when you're just there during the day.
you
And
just,
it's like,
like, hang
you
out.
guys know when you do
Yeah.
college
Nothing's
gigs,
happening.
there's nothing to do during the day.
Yeah, I think that's cool too. That maybe one thing that's maybe nice too is like more of the money goes to the stand-ups, because like if there's not really like an interface. You know what I'm saying? Like the club has its own business thing it's trying to do. And then like with the Zoom
They're
shows,
trying to sell drinks and food.
exactly,
Yeah.
they're trying to do the whole thing. We don't got rent, okay? We got to pay for this Zoom account, which I don't know how much it is, but like, you know, it's not that much. And then, you know, it's like a whole new shift. I mean, are you trying to do other things now too? 'Cause, you know, are you writing that dumb pilot? Are you like, you know, you got like you're posting more on Instagram? What, you know, you got your tweets and shit. Like, what else you doing?
Yeah, that shift to like social media for me has totally happened. Like I tweeted a lot anyways, but now I used to not think I would be able to do like those front facing character videos, and I've started doing that more.
That's cool.
And you know, like who knows what'll happen with that. The two I've done have been pretty fun, and then one kind of went viral. The one where I'm banging pots and pans.
Oh
for
yeah,
my
I
wife.
saw that. Yeah, that's so
like,
good.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm gonna just try to do comedy in whatever form. I think like stand up's my first love, and when we can go back to do it, I just can't imagine how awesome that's gonna feel.
Yeah.
Just like the crowds are gonna be pretty crazy. I feel like because everyone's been cooped up at home for so long.
For sure.
But right now, I think like it's got to be, Mike, you know, like it's got to be like MMA. I think you have to be a versatile performer,
Yes.
you know? Like stand-up can't be if you can only do stand-up, like that's kind of a weakness right now. You also have to know how to write or do a podcast or do a front-facing video on social media. Like you have to have a lot of facets to your game right now. So now that's when I'm training like those other areas that I wasn't when we were just all doing stand-up all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, because I'm not a front. I never thought I was a front face camera guy, but like, I mean, Mike and I have been doing some shit. I made a green.
You guys are funny as fuck.
I mean,
yeah.
we're just doing. There's also like, there's a Brian Yang way to do a front facing thing, so you don't have to
Right.
go there and do like that classic like. I don't know. You know how the Twitter videos are like, man, and it's like these
Right.
ridiculous cuts. Like you can do like a Brian Yang version of that feels right for you. And I think that's
sure.
what like we're trying to kind of figure out.
Yeah,
in
I
these
think
times,
just
man.
like stand up is like you find your voice and that's what you play to your strengths. And I think the really popular ones now, like Ava Victor, like are the ones where you're playing a character talking to the camera.
Yeah.
But I'm not good at that. So like, yeah, you kind of take that form and use it to the best of your ability. So I'm kind of trying to do it the way I would do it for sure.
Yeah, the money thing is interesting because like Mike and I have done a couple Zoom shows. Actually, you should just do our show this Friday. I'm gonna book you on the podcast.
Book you right now. You're
hell
booked.
yeah.
Congratulations.
You're booked. You're booked. Dude.
You're booked.
No,
Nice.
Look under your
I mean,
seat.
it's funny because like we've been like money wise, like you're right. Like we have been making more money with the Zoom shows than the other.
Dude, overhead is so low.
Yeah.
There's nothing. This is like $20 a month or whatever, and I pay
Yeah.
like an additional 30 to allow multiple 300 people on the thing
In
or whatever.
some shows I've been doing, they'll pay you and then they let you put your Venmo up, and then people who like you will just send you like $5. That's awesome to me.
I'm telling you,
Yes.
it's all OnlyFans now. You know, it's all that's what
Yeah.
this is what it's all about. We've basically, you know, what's funny is that like porn has always been the big innovator for everything, and we're following in the porn stars' footsteps because now porn people like they don't just do porn, like they also have a Twitch stream. Right? They also like because they're playing video games. They got the OnlyFans thing. They got exclusive content for their fans. They're tweeting a lot. They're doing
Snapchat. Yeah.
we're basically just like much dumber porn stars who make less money, and we should have been doing this.
Comedians have always been dumb
We're
porn
such
stars.
dumb
for sure.
people, and we should have just been doing whatever whoever has been doing for forever. Fumi?
Yes. Okay. So the race news today, quarantine news today. Vice had this very, we're always talking about serious shit on here. So today we thought we'd lighten the mood. This is a silly article on Vice. The headline reads, "Petting the cat wrong and 16 other ways our partners are trying to hurt us." So the synopsis: weeks of isolation have brought to light a bunch of baffingly bizarre habits we never noticed about the people we love. So people are confessing just like weird things they've noticed about their partners now that they're together 24/7, things that really annoy them. So for example, somebody wrote from Australia, "My boyfriend eats almonds by slowly nibbling on the end of one, then shoving it gently into the side of his cheeks until his face is bursting with them like a cartoon squirrel. I hate it. I hate him. It's driving me insane." Things like that.
Yeah, fuck that guy though.
Yeah, like a personal example is like, I didn't notice this because we weren't together for so long, but like I hate Maria's work phone voice. I can't stand it because she does like the fake laugh and like just like her pitch goes up a little bit. That's not the way she talks in real life. It's not just a jargon thing. It's just like her frequency just rubs my brain the wrong way. It's like listening to
it's unnatural.
It's just unnatural.
I wanted to ask you about quarantine because you are in a situation worse than having COVID. You guys had just opened your relationship and then immediately God was like, no. You will only fuck each other for 2 years.
For 2 years. I'm going to give Brian Yang a pass. He's going to be cool.
Yeah, I was joking with Mike the other day about how the only way I could do an open relationship now is like, have you seen that movie Her?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would have to meet someone online and then get her on the phone, give AirPods to Maria's body, and then Maria would have to pretend that she's this other girl. But I would be having sex with Maria. That would be the only way to do it,
So have you been like DMing or like are you just like on pause?
No,
like
I'm not doing
else?
shit. No, because my strategy was always, because I can't do the online shit. I'm not an online guy. I don't have Brian Park's face. I can't do online dating. But like I can do well at a show and holler at some shorties afterwards. So that was my plan.
Game. That's our game.
But you take that away from me. I don't even want to play the game. I don't have a shot.
That's funny.
Right. Tanya Harding just crippled you with the pipe to the leg.
Yeah, it's like I'm like Steph Curry, and the NBA is just like, no more 3-pointers. I'm more 3-pointers. Whoa, what?
That's funny that
I'm
that's
Steph
the way.
Curry. Yes.
Yeah, that's the way that stand-ups. You know what I'm saying? Like, because like hot people, I feel they can send each other nudes, and like then you're like, oh hey, that's really sexy.
It's awesome. This is an all-time great time for hot people.
Oh my god, it's amazing, right? But for us, we like our stand-up set is our nudes. It's like that's how people can be. It's like,
the only way I ever got girls was like being funny in real life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And now that's gone. Like I can't imagine like funny guys. They're fucked right now.
That's why we're all hanging out.
All the funny guys out there.
That's why we're all hanging out here on this podcast. The three sets, funny guys. So.
Like I think for all three of us, we definitely went above and beyond partner-wise where we should be because of our funniness. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
I did want to follow up with that. So like, is there, because how's your wife doing? I mean, she's still working a lot? Is she out there?
Yeah, luckily being in the healthcare field, she's busier than ever. So she's a nursing director and she's still going to school to get her doctorate. So right now, today, she's volunteering and taking calls about COVID from New York residents. So basically, if you have symptoms or you think you have symptoms, you can call 311, and she's one of the nurses that will pick up and basically talk you through like what you need to do. So she's doing that right now. But like Fumi was saying, she's using her fake phone voice. And she kind of has to because it's like sick people, but it's driving me nuts.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't believe that she's volunteering even on her off time to help people, and you're hanging out with us. This is sick.
That's so
I'm
rude.
like, be quiet. I don't care who has COVID. I'm hanging out with Mike and Fumi.
We're talking about my dick here. Remember how my dick hurt? God. Selfish.
I love it. What's this, Mike? What's this Contagion the game thing?
I tried to think of a game. I couldn't think of one. It'll be fine.
okay.
We could either we could end it or I mean, otherwise, I mean,
Wait, Mike,
fine.
is Gina doing anything that's bothering you? Or are you guys perfect?
No,
I think they're perfect.
In general, we're pretty good. This isn't really anything I didn't know before. I guess like the thing that bugs me, she knows, is that a lot of times I'll have to like lock down into like, because I'm trying to do like some comedy thing, or I'm trying to work on like just work my day job. And she'll be like, oh, okay, you're busy. Okay. And then, so she'll like go, but then she'll keep talking to me. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, she'll just like keep like, I'm like working and she knows it. And she's like, she'll just like talk to herself or talk like to me. And she'll be like, do you think we need onions? And I'm just like, I can't talk to you right now. This is crazy.
Right. Cause you're in work
I'm in work mode.
And usually she wouldn't be there, right?
Yeah. She's like, but like, because of whatever reason. So that's not too bad. But I get back at her in so many ways, but like mainly I think because we're Fumi and I and you have become like social media comedians, she's now my principal photographer. So like
yes.
And I'm just like, okay, hold on. So in this scene, I'm dressed like a ninja. All right. Your job is to pan slowly from left to right. Okay. And she's like doing it. And,
exactly.
And she's just like,
yeah, like when I asked my wife to be in that video, I basically had to like produce her and then like direct her in it, and then she was like, okay, whatever, dude, I'll do this for you.
That is so funny because I literally had Maria build this for me.
Oh my god. Oh my god. It's just like our wives are doing things which are like worthwhile, you know what I'm saying? She's like,
their production assistants.
Yes, exactly. Like their day job is like, speech therapist, like art museum administrator, doctor, nurse, helping people. And then like and their spare time they have to help these three losers like with their like shitty TikTok video.
They're like, will you make any money doing this? No, babe, but it's content.
Oh my god.
It's content.
This morning I was like, are you busy today? She's like, why? I'm like, well, I'm like filming this like anime parody and I'm gonna like run in front of the green screen. Can you like throw pillows at me so it looks like I'm fighting things?
That's
She's like, what? That's like a real conversation.
That is like, what the fuck are you talking about, you psychopath?
The worst part is the pitch. Pitching it to them is just like, okay, so check this out. Okay, the joke is that I am a salesman, but I sell butts. Okay, like, and she's like looking at you with her eyes. You know what I'm saying? And she's just like, what? What did I agree to? This is not what I wanted.
Yeah, she's like, Mike, I want to buy a house. What the fuck are you doing?
Now they're like our Lorne Michaels. Like, I have this idea.
Okay, check this out. Okay,
please.
Oh, man.
Well,
I love that.
Brian, I'm so glad that you're alive. If you had died, we wouldn't have anyone to open for us. So this is fantastic. It's impossible to find people to open for us. Yeah.
Yes.
David Nguyen. I will will him my opening spot for Asian Not Asian.
But no, we're glad you're okay. You're kicking ass. You're gonna kick ass this year, and then who knows? Maybe in a couple years we'll see each other again in person, and it'll be fantastic.
Oh, I can't wait to hang out with you guys in 2022.
Oh, that'll be so fun.
But you know what's the best part about being Asian is we'll all look the same.
We'll still look the same,
and everyone else will look old.
Oh my god, you're right.
Awesome.
Where can our fans find you?
Follow me at Brian Yang on Twitter, Brian L. Yang on Instagram, and BrianYang.com for no dates.
No dates. No dates. No dates.
But dude, it was so good hanging out with you guys and good seeing your faces.
Yeah, man. Same,
absolutely, man. And you can find us on Instagram at Asian Not Asian Pod. Please follow us, subscribe to us on iTunes and Spotify. Please leave a review. And I'm also on there at the Fumi Abe. That's TheFumiAbe.
And you can find me on Instagram at Nice Pants Bro. Check out our stand-up show. Now it's a weekly show. It's every Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, Eastern Standard Time, and we're gonna have Brian Yang there. So it's gonna be fucking
and
Friday.
I have my food podcast.
Yes,
What's Eating You? So check that out with Ariel Lady. We talk about food. It's super fun.
Are you guys still doing that?
Yeah, we just recorded our my first episode since I was in the hospital.
That's crazy.
So that's
Oh,
out now.
that's
yeah,
amazing.
So just
That's
look
amazing.
up What's Eating You.
Definitely
Hell
gotta
yeah,
check that out, man.
And for Hack City, just Google Hack City Eventbrite, or the link is in our Instagram bio. But you have to make a reservation to get the Zoom link, so don't forget to do that. And Brian, thank you again. And fans, thanks for listening. This has been The Lockdown. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.